Hey everybody, it's Mr. Buro from Staten Tech, and right now I'm going to be demoing the trim command, which I believe is the most useful command in all of AutoCAD, as well as its sister command known as the extend command. Afterwards, I will show you the explode command, which is an unrelated command, but I find that it's very useful to learn at this level. So let's begin with the trim command. I need you to understand something that's very important here. I have activated the trim command, and usually it would be asking me to select cutting edges, but new to version 2021, it pre-selects everything as a cutting edge, meaning like every line that crosses another line or another object can be trimmed into pieces. So this vertex over here that is the intersection point between these two lines actually acts as an area where I can cut from. So I can cut this piece out, I can cut this piece out, I can cut this piece out, and this piece over here. I'll go ahead and begin by cutting this one piece and then show you that this can be cut as well as this and this. But for instance, over here, if I were to cut out this short side, I can then no longer differentiate between the lower and upper portions of this line. So the trim command is actively changing what is cuttable based on the order that you choose it. It's good to take notice as far as what's there. You may have noticed that also, instead of just using the pick box, I could also press the mouse down and then move kind of like a cutting tool. That's a linear cutting tool. Or if I hold the mouse button down, it's kind of like I'm drawing a cutting tool. You could be very, very specific as to what to cut using this particular function. So I recommend using all three things: the pick box, the linear cutting tool, and the drawn cutting tool, which is known as a fence in AutoCAD. Let's take a look at something more complex. I preset these shapes over here to kind of show you really quick that if I wanted to, again, I could use that very, very specific tool and chop out all of the pieces inside here very quickly, and then empty out what's in the circle. And upon pressing enter, you could see that the circle's still here, and these segments are now considered independent lines. The pieces that used to be in here no longer exist, and they no longer count as parts of those lines. So if I were to undo that, you can see that if I pressed on this original line, there's actually a bunch of parts to it. There's 1, 2, 3 segments that are part of a polyline. And then after I break it, they're no longer parts of that polyline. They've become independent lines, as I'll show you right here. So I'll activate the trim command again, and I will cut these pieces out. And then I'll press enter to end the command. And I'll hover my mouse over here and show that now these are independent polylines. Let's take a look at the extend command. The extend command, which is underneath the trim command, can be activated by selecting the command itself. And then with this, I need only bring my mouse towards the endpoint of an object to see how far it can extend. So if I click over here, you can see that I can extend that line very, very close to the circle. And then I can do it again and again to show you how many different places it can go to. That's with an arc. Could do that on this side as well. But if I go to here, this line segment, I could kind of restore what it used to be very quickly. So that's the extend command. I can't really extend anything over here because it has nothing to go to. Same thing with this and this, because these are pieces of a polyline and they continue. But those other pieces were segments, and then I can definitely extend those if I wanted to. I'm sure you understand. Okay, so that is the trim and the extend command. I'm just going to show you a little bit more with the trimming. So if I were to just kind of pick this top of the circle to go away, or I could use the line cut and cut those things out over here, sort of trimming out the garbage around this triangle. You can see that it's actually very, very quick for me to create shapes. So that's pretty much the trim and extend command. And again, I'll show you that extend. But what you can do, actually, let me show you this. What you can do while you're trimming is you could hold the shift key. And once you're holding the shift key, it actually activates the extend command. That's why I said they were sister commands before. So I can hold the shift key and activate the extend command and then retrim them without breaking stride. Now let's go over here where I drew some polygons. This is in fact a rectangle, which is coming up as a polyline. This is a hexagon, which is coming up as a polyline. And this is a polar array. This polar array is associative, which means like when I click it, I can still edit the array options that are built into it. However, the idea here is to show you what the explode command does. The explode command is up here and can be called upon from the command line by typing the word explode. I think you have to type up to EXP or EXPL. So once I select that command and I select one of the objects and I press enter, seemingly nothing has happened. But now if I highlight this piece, you can see that now I'm accessing individual line segments. Whereas before, that was a rectangle, which I couldn't do that with. So if I undo the explode command, you can see that it's one piece, and if I try to color it, the entire piece becomes colored. If I perform the explode command on the hexagon, press enter, you'll see that now it creates individual line segments just like before. This is where it gets really interesting though. This is an array of polylines. Each one of these stars is made out of 10 polyline segments, but it's a single polyline. So the first thing I do, if I hit the explode command and select the array, is that I break it into a non-associative array. So now I've done that, and as you can see, I have independent stars here. And as I said, each one of those stars is made out of a single polyline with 10 segments. But watch this. If I perform the explode command on the star, now that star is made of individual segments. And I can show you that by coloring pieces of it. Okay, so that's the explode command. The explode command takes down the complexity of an object into its simplest parts, one hierarchical level at a time. I believe that's it. Please use the trim command often, as believe it or not, using it sometimes makes your workflow faster than being extra meticulous in your construction from the beginning. Thank you very much.